Hi, in today's video we will look how to draw pie chart using Google Charts. We will see how to animate our bar charts and column charts in Google Charts. Let us start with basic pie chart. A pie chart is circular graph which is showing some statistical data which divides your circle into number of slices. The portion of slice is directly proportional to the data it is representing, so it is in proportion with the data of representation. Now let us see how to draw this pie chart in Google Charts. So the code for Google Chart, as I have covered in my previous video, there are basic 3 steps. First step is to include your loader in page with the help of one script tag where source is equal to https www.gstatics.com/charts/loader.js. So this is the first step of loading Google Chart. The second step that I have told you is to load the desired library packages into your web page. So to load desired packages, we have method google.charts.load. The parameter that you must pass is the current. So here first parameter will be current and the packages that you would like to have is the core chart. Because in core chart only you will find bar, column, pie, area, line and donut, all these charts. So the package we have loaded is the current package for core chart. The third step is to set local callback. So on load callback method is the third step. I must write it after this function. So google.set on load callback function makes use of another method to call. So the method that we wish to call is the render chart method. That is nothing but a function that we have just defined below it. So this render chart method is the name of the method that we wish to draw. Now inside this method, we also covered in our previous video that we are interested in defining 3 variables: data variable, option variable and chart variable. So very first one is your data variable, that is first to convert your data from array to a table, and that can be done with the help of google.visualization.array to data table method. Inside this we will pass this array. This array first element or first row will tell us the headings of 2 columns. So the column 1 will be my product column in a table and second column will be my sales column. So shoes, in second line we will start specifying our product and their respective sales. So the first product is shoes and respective sale is 40. Second product and its sales, third product and its sales and so on. So we have in total specified 4 products. We will complete this data point and we will declare another variable that is an option variable. Here we can set up the title. Along with this we have already seen that we have an option of H axis. Okay, and we have V axis. Inside this we can change its title. So if you are wishing to, you can just refer my previous video and change this value. I'm skipping for now. Okay, so this is the nothing but option variable. You can directly skip this part and you can directly draw a chart with the data variable only. That is also perfectly okay. Now creating our third and final variable, that is the chart variable, and that is initialized with the help of new keyword of google.visualization.pie-chart. Now instead of writing bar or column chart here, the method I am calling is the pie chart. And the area of a web page over which this pie chart has to be rendered is identified by its ID, and that is given with the help of method document.getElement by ID chart. Now you must have inside body tag one div tag which is having same ID that you have mentioned here. Okay, so here you have one chart and here ID is also chart. So that can be done. For simplification, let me change the name or ID as my chart. So that will be okay. Okay, so this will be stored inside variable chart. Now we have three variable chart, data and option. We will make a call to chart.draw data comma option semicolon. So chart will be drawn. Let us look into web page. I'll just refresh. As you can see, first loader will be executed, then packages will be loaded, and finally your draw or render method will be called to actually draw this. As you can see, there are four categories of your product: shoes, hat, coat, and scarf. And shoes is having actually value, sales value 40. So this 40 is equivalent to 27% of your 360 degree of your circle. So this slice is calculated, this portion is calculated automatically, that what should be the angle of this particular slice is calculated by Google itself. Then second is the after shoes we have hats, then we have coats, and we finally have scarves. So this is how your pie chart will be rendered over a web page using Google Chart. And of course over the top we have the title as product sales. Moving towards the another portion of our video, that is how to perform an animation in Google Charts. So there are basically two ways to perform an animation. First, you can animate your chart while they are getting rendered or painted for the very first time. Or you can have an animation when you click a button and the data series changes in your chart. So one are the two ways you can include the animation in your chart. We will see both of them. The first one is to animate your chart when startup. That means first time when your chart is getting drawn, at that startup event we are actually making an animation to work. So the first step is to set your chart data and option. So whatever variable data set from an array to table conversion we have done in data and option, we are setting up the title and axis label, all these things has to be done. And inside that option variable we set something called as an animation duration and its ease time. So as you can see, I have put this piece of code where option is defined, where we have some title and we have v-axis title and view window, that is nothing but the axes are ranging from 0 to maximum 55 for their scale of sales, and horizontal axis is product. We are including one more tag, that is an animation property in our options variable. We have to set up three property inside animation property. The first property is startup colon true. If you are setting up this property that says that when chart is displayed for very first time, it must get animated. So startup colon true inside animation, which is part of option variable, must set to true to have startup animation. Second thing that you can customize is the duration. How much second or how much millisecond that you will specify for the duration of an animation. So 1 second duration, the animation will last for only 1 second. And 1000 is nothing but millisecond, which is equivalent to only 1 second. The easing. The easing is defining the speed of animation. Easing options are such as linear, in and out are having different speed of animation when animation starts, when animation is in middle, and when animation ends. So in and out option basically start animation very fast in its initial duration, make slow animation in middle duration, and at out again it fast its animation. So the three things that you will include to have an animation to start up is the animation property inside option variable. The first property will be the startup colon true. Second property is duration colon millisecond. And third property is easy colon some value. And, and after putting all these values, we call chart.draw method, which is passing having two variables, data and options. So The methods that we have used is animation.duration. That is, inside animation we have duration. You can specify any number over here. Okay, the number must be in milliseconds. So whatever number you will specify, the Google will treat it as millisecond. To specify your animation must last for 2 seconds, you must specify 2000 over there. The easing option is nothing but a speed that you wish animation to have. So linear speed will be have a constant speed. In speed will slow and they start and later on it speeds up. When you specify a value as out, the animation will be fast initially and later on it will be slow. In and out will have slow animation in the beginning and the end, and in middle it will be fast. And startup is true. When you set up animation property startup true, that means when it loads, it must get animated. If it is false, your chart won't be animated when it is drawn for the very first time. Now let us see how to animate a chart on startup. Let us look into this code. Uh, okay, so this is my code where we have all the values same as previous. The only change is the addition of this portion. That is inside this option, after H and V axis, we have put in this animation property. Inside animation, we have startup that is set to true, duration to 1 second, easing in and out. By default, it is linear. So we have changed that. And using this option, we have passed inside this chart.draw method. Okay, now look at the web page first. So this is my web page. I'm refreshing. As you can see, when chart is getting loaded, it is getting animated. Okay, one thing you should note that there are some index label written over this bar. So this column is having index label that is equivalent to its Y value. This index label is having equivalent its Y value. So index labels are appearing with each column. So how to do that? Now inside the column, have a look at this data over the definition of this data. Again, for data, we first make a call to array to data table method. Inside this, the name of first column is product. So first value will always be the name of the product. Second column is the sale, which is nothing but sales value of a particular product. And third column is kind of annotation. So in previous example or in previous video, we have used the role of style to change the color of a bar. Here we have used a role of an annotation to change the to annotate or to have index label. So annotation is used for as an index label in Google Charts. So when value is 40, the annotation or index label also should be 40. When Y value is 50, annotation also should follow 40 and so on. That's why the third value that we have specified over here. So this is how we have changed our data. This annotation have nothing to do with our animation. This is just one property that I have just included to show the customization. I'll again once more refresh and show you the animation of a chart. Okay, now over this web page you can see this change button. When I change this, the value of shoes, hat, coat and scarves changes. Okay, so again I call, they are restored to their previous value 40, 50, 35 and 20. When I click, they are becoming 25, 40, 45 and 50. Again click. So values actually going to get toggle. Either one values are getting displayed, one series of values. When I click change, another series of values are getting displayed. And while transiting between these two values, my chart is getting animated. So this is called as while changing your data, chart is getting animated. So, how to animate your chart when there is a change in data? We already have rendered chart that we have just seen. We have to modify the data of a table in an option. We will specify the transition options for that, and finally we call a chart.draw method. So where is actually the change we are making? Let us look into the code. So the code we have already understood is up to at this point when we have seen chart.draw data comma option. Now we have one button inside my body. As you can see, one ID is the chart. The second division is holding one button that is given by input ID and type is equal to button, and value is displayed over the button is the change. So I will get this button and stored inside a variable button. That can be done with the help of variable button is equal to document.getElement by ID change data. Now change data is an ID of this button, and that complete button will come and stored inside the variable button. Now, initially, my chart is displaying very first series. I will call it as first data. So to toggle between two series, I will make use of one Boolean variable, which is initially true. That means first series data is shown inside my chart. Whenever I click my button, that is on button click, I will execute something. I will first check whether first data is shown or not. Initially first data is shown because initially value is true, and obviously at the time of loading I have this 40, 50, 35 and 20. This is my first series. So I will first check if first data is loaded or not. If first data is not loaded, then I will set values as first values. First values are 40, 50, 35 and 20 respectively. So if not of first data, inside bracket, first I will negate to change it from true to false and false to true. So this is the simple statement to toggle between true and false. Now actually how to change the data? To change the data, we specify data.setValue method. Now this setValue method is changing value for zeroth element, first element, second element and third element. So ultimately over the web page, this first column is my second for zeroth element, second column is my first element, this is my quotes is second element and third element. So 0, 1, 2 and 3 are the values. Now this 1111 stands for the Y value. So shoes, even though it is my zeroth element, its Y value is nothing but 1 is set to 40. Hat is my first element whose Y value, that means first value, is set to 50, and so on is depicted by this statement. 0 is shoes, Y value is 1 and 40 is the actual value that I want, the height of the bar I want. Again, after shoes we have hats. So 1 is hat, this one is the Y value and 50 is the value for Y. 2 is my third column, 1 is my Y value and this is the Y value's value. So we have set these values. Now according to these values, I must change their annotation. That means height of a bar is 40, then its notation or the annotation must also have 40. So I will just copy paste all these set values over here, but instead of this one I have changed to 2. I have changed to 2. Now what does this mean? As I said, this middle all one says it is a Y value. Now all middle 2 says these are the annotations. So 40's annotation will be 40 because the element in both statement is 40. Okay, and this 40 is representing Y value. But this string 40 is representing an annotation. That is how we interpret the statement. Okay, so the first element is having value 50, so its annotation also should be 50. So I have copy pasted the complete thing. Now inside else statement, if this condition is not true, then what should be done? We should load another data. So I will just copy paste the complete code from if to my else part, the only thing or values that I will change is the last parameter. So instead of first series 40, 50, 35 and 20, the second series is 25, 40, 45 and 50 will be reflected or will be changed. And according to this 25, I will change first annotation to 25. According to the second value 40, I will change another annotation to 40 and so on. So I have complete if else statement on button dot on click. So this is the completion of a function. And after this function ends, we make call to chart.draw data comma option. So whatever the data values that we have updated, we are making a call to chart.draw method with our new updated data. So that will be done. That is the only thing that we have to change or to include an animation at that point. So here, when I click change, now it is 25, 40, 45 and 15. That is the second series. When I change, it is coming back to first series. And this is happening because of the toggling. The toggling is done with the help of one Boolean variable first data, which is initially set to true, and after checking of that first data, we always negate it. So if it is already true, it will false. If it is already false, it will negate to true. So in today's video, we have looked into how to plot a pie chart using Google Chart. Along with that, we have seen two different types of animation, animation on startup and animation when data is changed. So thank you everyone for watching this video. This is Munira Topia signing off.